everybody. I am Brenda Thompson. I am the host of Just Show Up, the podcast where we talk to real estate agents about their journeys, things that they may have encountered along the way, learned along the way, trials and tribulations, and a little bit of everything in between. Today, we have Kim Elmer with us, and we're happy to have you with us. Thank you, Kim, for being here, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about your real estate journey. What brought you into this industry and some of the paths you've taken along the way?
I started about almost 12 years ago, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like because I'd never done real estate. I was always in corporate. And so it was kind of like jumping off at the deep end and not knowing how to swim. I just had perseverance, and that was really what helped me because I didn't really have any sphere of influence, and I just had to work hard and just commit to putting in the work.
It's funny because when I talk to people who've come from a corporate background, part of their journey and understanding, especially when they've come from corporate and a structured 9 to 5 or whatever the hours were, all of a sudden they're working more weekends, working more evenings, and they might be doing grocery shopping on a Tuesday morning at 10, and all of a sudden and feeling guilty about that. And it's just a mind shift that you have to
Yes.
take. Good for you for persevering
Yes.
and making it through that head game transition we have to make.
It's tough. It's tough when you first start out because you compare yourself to the experienced agents,
Of
and
course.
that's a tough spot to be in.
So you mentioned that you didn't have a sphere of influence already that was ready and waiting on you to get your license. How did you start your business? How did you start getting those clients?
Well, I started with just a few people that had reached out to me after about a month or so of being licensed, and I just wanted to go above and beyond for my clients. And I said, when I got into this business, I'm going to do it with integrity or I'm not going to do it. And I think I have that servant's heart and just wanting to just really do whatever I can to help my client, whether it's finding a lender or finding a plumber, if it comes to repairs, just doing anything that I can do to help.
And that does make the difference because then you make happy clients who then will refer their friends and family to you.
Right.
And you've now been in the industry long enough. I'm sure you're getting that too.
I am. I'm so thankful that I get to do a job that I love so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. What industry were you in prior to real estate?
Well, I worked for a law firm for
Okay.
about 16 years.
Okay.
And there was property knowledge that was needed in that job. And so I had that knowledge. And then I went to work for another corporate company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that also needed some regulatory and some information needed for contracts. So that also helped me with the real estate.
And let you know that documentation is quite important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it sure is.
Good. So is there anything that you came across, especially in those first couple of months or couple of years, that presented a challenge that you had to work through, whether it be an individual story or just kind of an overview?
Had a veteran client that we were in the thick of it when it was about 2020, when there was multiple offers going out and you couldn't even put an offer on a house and there was 10 offers. And I kept telling my client, I'm not going to give up on you unless you give up. And I think we probably put in close to 20 to 25 offers and they just kept getting rejected. And I just finally said, we're going to keep going. And I know this is frustrating and disappointing, but I promise the right house is out there for you. And we found it and they absolutely love it. So it was worth it.
Our viewers who were not in the real estate industry probably have no idea what we went through during that time period, but it was hard. Kudos to you for sticking through it and being able to help them find that dream home.
Thank you. Yeah, I just love what I do. And that helps so much because it doesn't feel like a job to me. It's just doing whatever I can to be a service to them.
Good. So what do you feel like your goals are for upcoming in the future with real estate?
I just want to be consistent and, really communication is big for me. So communicating, calling and checking on them after they've closed on the house and say, hey, are you having any issues? Is everything okay with the house? And then just be in that constant contact for them if they need a landscaper, or, I had a client that had to move into assisted living. And so her home wasn't, it needed a lot of repairs. So I had a lot of people coming in and helping navigate and be there with that client to let people in to do the work. So she didn't have to worry about it, kind of taking that off of her plate.
That's great, and having those resources of who to call
Yes,
for all
that's
of those
important.
different tasks that need to be addressed.
Yes. And I want to make sure that they're always bonded and insured. These folks I have used multiple times, and I would use them on my own home.
I always like to give that type of a recommendation too, and I will usually follow it with exactly that. I've
Yeah.
had this person to my own personal home, so
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
What tools are you using to keep up with all of this? Because I hear you talking about great communication
Mhm.
with past clients. Are there any particular tools that you use to help you keep up with people?
Yeah, I do a monthly market update to every single one of the clients that I have served. And I kind of let them know how the market is doing, any changes in interest rates, anything that we are noticing in the market to keep them informed. And that goes out once a month.
And what kind of tools do you use that help you? And I always like to ask, this is just show up. What is the one thing that you must show up for or that must always show up for you that is critical to life or business?
One tool I use is just communication. Again, going back to that with just being like every step of the way, being there for my client. I don't pawn it off to a clear to close person or a marketing person. I do all of that myself, and I enjoy that and every aspect of whether it's we're just starting to look for homes or if we're heading to the closing table. I attend closing. So just being there for them and showing up.
I think closing is the best part of the
It
whole
is.
process.
It really is. It's a lot of fun.
It's the celebration, and no matter what, whether your client is the buyer or the seller, and no matter what their next steps are, it's still the celebration of, "We worked together and got this done."
Follow up with them after the close too, because there's homestead exemptions, that need to be filed. And I want to make sure they understand that too, because that saves them a lot of money in their property taxes.
It does, yes, and so many people don't understand how the homestead exemption works at all,
Mhm.
and we might hear about it on the news here or there, but most homeowners, not just new buyers, but most homeowners don't fully understand that, so you're wise to help them with that process too. Okay, so back to when you very first started in real estate, was there anything that you had a fear about, especially having come from the corporate world and making such a big transition into the real estate industry? Was there anything that you had to overcome through that?
I think it was a fear, just that I would be good enough, that I would have enough knowledge, because I think an agent is only as good as the knowledge that they have. And you finish your real estate exam, but then it doesn't really teach you all the other aspects of real estate. And then you're now what? And my first contract that I did for a listing, it backed out 3 times,
Oh,
and it was a very big learning experience, and it was hard for me not to think, "Was there something else I could have done?" But it was just something that the clients decided, hey, they didn't want the house, or there was something on the inspection. It really brought me down to like, okay, I'm a problem solver, and that's ultimately what it came down to. I just had to learn to problem solve whatever the problem was.
and I think those experiences teach us exactly that too, that it reminds us that we are there to be the problem solver, to be able to get them from beginning of the process all the way through to closing, but then it gives us the confidence that we can do it too. So every one of those experiences, no matter how difficult it might feel in the middle of it, is what makes you a better agent years and years and years later.
I agree.
So what's your favorite part of this business?
Showing clients and just trying to go and see what the need is and really clearly listen to them. Because I think if you do that and you just, you don't do what you think they want, you do what they ask you and what they're looking for in a home. And I make notes on every appointment just so I have them know that I'm listening to them and I want to meet those needs. Whether it's an off-market property, whether it's a property on market, or whether it's one that's coming soon, I'm reaching out to them and communicating, their desires to them and
And
trying
it's
to
that
meet them.
listening that helps us to sometimes help them to better define what it is that they're looking for. I know
Mhm.
so oftentimes they come and they don't know how to define exactly what they're looking for, but when we're listening, we can pick up on it.
Another one of my favorites is that when you walk in the house and you've shown a dozen homes and they walk in and their face lights up and you know that's the one, that they have found the one, it's just such a joy to me to see that on their face. It never gets old to me.
I agree. It's funny because it's one of the things that by the time we get to closing, a lot of times we know who is going in which room. We
Uh-huh.
might even know about some of the different furniture pieces and where it's
Right.
going to be placed on the wall. We definitely know about any of the remodeling projects that they have, whether it's on the immediate list or on the future list. We
Mhm.
know so much about the way they plan to turn that property into a home.
What they're envisioning themselves being in that home.
Mhm.
And but where's the couch going? And that's just so important to me.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Is there anything that you, through the years, wish that you knew then, what you know now?
Think it's just, the knowledge that I have now and the experience behind me has helped me to better serve my clients. And I think what's really important is to attend your classes, attend, anything that you can to learn more about the real estate market or anything that you can do to better serve your clients, because I think that's what's really important is, like I said, we're only as good as the knowledge we have. And if we have that extra knowledge, we can better serve our clients.
And things change so often.
Mhm,
Our forms, our contracts, laws, and rules change so
mhm.
often that having those classes on a regular basis keep us abreast of what's happening and the changes that we need to be aware of too.
That's right.
It's great advice. So, is there a gadget or a tool that you love most?
I have a laser measure, and I love that because if whether it's we're measuring for a refrigerator in the kitchen, or we're measuring a room to see if a king size bed will fit into it, or the garage. Sometimes the MLS doesn't have room sizes on there, and I go to my car, I get that, and they're always like, "Oh, that's just the best thing." And I think a lot of clients find that helpful. So I think that would be my best gadget.
I agree, and I pull that out at home too. So
Oh, yes.
it's something that lives in the car, but it comes in handy for so many different projects. But you're right, having it there for even someone who cares about the height of a room or the height of a
Right.
garage. And of
Uh,
course, that's not going to be on the MLS anyway.
right.
That it looks
Right.
at the square footage from
Mhm.
a length and width, but sometimes you need to know how tall is that
That's
ceiling.
right. How tall are those ceilings? Yes.
Well, this has been a lot of fun today. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with? Kind of some last thought.
I think just keeping service at the center. I think that's the most important thing, and serving them well. Keep them just make sure that you're always communicating with them.
That's
I think that would be my
perfect.
best advice.
That's perfect too. Communication, as much as I love all the extra tools and how easy it
Mhm,
is to now communicate by text, and everyone's
mhm,
very, very comfortable with text, but sometimes we forget that we can lose a little with that too. And what
mhm.
I've heard you talk about today is a lot of communication that sounds like it's probably a lot of phone calls, which I love because then people get to hear the excitement in your voice, the
Mhm.
sincerity. And I think that goes a lot further than just text. Don't get me wrong. Text and email are my favorite ways to communicate, but building that rapport is all about
Mhm.
communication. So it sounds like you do a great job of that.
Thing that I'm doing right now is it gets closer to Christmas. I've ordered personalized gifts for my clients, my past clients, and I'm delivering them. And yesterday I delivered, I think, 30 gifts off, and I saw about 20 of my past clients, and that just made my day. That was
I
just so
bet.
fun to see them, and they bring me into the home and they see the updates and upgrades that they've done since they moved in, and it just makes me so happy.
I love that because you're seeing that full circle, not just closing, but even
Mhm.
beyond to really further connect with them. Love it.
Thank you. I love it.
You're like me, you just love this business too.
I
I love
do.
what we get to do.
Yes, I really feel blessed to be able to do this job.
Well, Kim, this has been a lot of fun today. I really appreciate you being on, and I appreciate your openness and honesty and sincerity. And this has been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
This episode has been sponsored by Home Smart Stars. Agents, do you feel unseen, unheard? Maybe wish you had better commission? Maybe wish that you were welcomed and encouraged to show up, to just show up as you are and be your true, authentic self and have all the training and support and tools to help you thrive in your real estate career? If so, then you need to reach out to Home Smart Stars and make Home Smart Stars your home for real estate.